The day I opened a letter from my HOA fining me $4,200, I thought it had to be some kind of mistake. They said my grandpa's flagpole was a community violation. What they didn't realize, that flag had draped the casket of men who never made it home, and my grandfather was a decorated veteran. Act 1. The conflict begins. I'm Daniel Miller, 32 years old, software engineer, regular guy. I bought a modest place in Maple Creek so I could take care of my grandpa Frank. He's in his 80s, stiff knees, but still sharp as a tack. He served in the Pacific during World War II, earned a Purple Heart, and never once bragged about it. And in front of our house, for as long as I can remember, there's been a tall white pole with the American flag waving high. That was his pride, his quiet way of remembering the guys who didn't come back. Enter Karen Whitmore. Blonde bob haircut, sharp suit, always carrying a leather folder thick with regulations. She's the self-appointed queen of Maple Creek, the HOA president. One Tuesday afternoon, she knocked on our door. I opened it, and she slid a paper into my hand with a smirk. Violation notice. Unauthorized flagpole. Fine is $200 per day. Current total, $4,200. Payable immediately. I actually laughed at first. This flagpole's been here 30 years. My grandpa's a veteran. Karen didn't blink. Rules are rules. Nobody stands above the HOA. If the pole isn't removed, fines will continue, and we can pursue property liens. That phrase, property liens, hit like a punch. She wasn't threatening just the flag, she was threatening our home. Next morning, bright orange, non-compliant stickers were slapped on our door. HOA emails flooded in warnings of escalating fines, threats of legal action. I sent them proof, the deed, the installation permit from decades ago, photos of my grandpa in uniform with that flagpole already in place. The response: another notice. Failure to respect HOA procedure. At this point, it wasn't about a flag, it was about control. Act 2. Escalation and doubt. Karen called an HOA meeting. Word spread that my illegal flagpole would be discussed. I sat in the back listening. Up on the screen, blown up bigger than life, was a photo of our front yard. Karen pointed at it like it was a crime scene. This structure is not compliant. If we allow Daniel to ignore the standards, what message do we send to the community? I felt eyes on me. Some neighbors nodded with her, others whispered. I wanted to stand up, shout the truth, but all I managed was, "That's my grandpa's flag. He fought for this country." Karen just tilted her head. And no one is exempt from the rules. That night, the fines were up to $4,200. I sat on the porch, staring at that flagpole, asking myself if it was worth it. Maybe I should just take it down, avoid the fight. Was I selfish, dragging my grandpa into this? Maybe Karen was right. Maybe I was the stubborn one. Grandpa sat beside me in silence. Then he got up, went inside, and came back with an old wooden box. He set it on my lap. Inside, his Purple Heart, his service papers, a black and white photo of him shaking hands with the president. His voice cracked but stayed firm. That flag covered coffins of my brothers. If you let them take it down, then what the hell did we fight for? Right then, the doubt broke. I realized this wasn't just my fight, it was his legacy. I reached out to the American Legion Post 214 local veterans. They listened, shook their heads, and said, "If the HOA keeps this up, we'll stand with you." Slowly, other neighbors spoke up. Tina admitted she'd been fined over the color of her mailbox. Jess whispered that her mom got cited for a flower pot. People were tired, but they were scared of Karen. Then it got uglier. One night, Ranger, my German Shepherd, went wild, barking at the front yard. I rushed out, flashlight in hand, and caught two men fumbling with the flag rope. They bolted when they saw me. Next morning, a letter was taped to the pole. Final warning. Remove within 48 hours, or the HOA will remove it for you. Think about that, strangers telling me they'd trespass and tear down my grandpa's flag. I posted a photo online. Within hours, veterans groups messaged me. Neighbors whispered encouragement, and even strangers said, "Don't back down." But inside, I was still bracing myself. What if they actually showed up? Act 3. The showdown. 48 hours later, right on schedule, Karen marched up the street. Two men in reflective vests followed her, carrying tools, bolt cutters, a crowbar, a wrench. They weren't here to talk. They were here to rip the pole out of the ground. I stood at the base of that flagpole. My grandpa was beside me, dressed in his old uniform, medals pinned across his chest, his back straight as ever. Karen sneered. "Step aside, Daniel. This is a compliance action." Grandpa's voice cut through like thunder. "This flag draped the caskets of heroes. You will not touch it." Neighbors started stepping out. Phones raised, recording. A small crowd forming murmurs turning into shouts. "Leave them alone." Karen's men hesitated. One muttered, "Do we really want to do this in front of cameras?" Karen snapped, "Do your job." And then squad cars rolled up. Out stepped 2 officers, and behind them members of the American Legion in full uniform. One veteran unfolded a copy of federal law, the Veterans Memorial Protection Act. He read it aloud, his voice echoing, "Any attempt to destroy or remove a veteran's memorial, including a flag or flagpole dedicated in their honor, is subject to criminal penalties." The officers nodded. "You heard it. Ma'am, you have no authority here. Back off." Karen's face turned scarlet. "This is HOA property business. We have the right." The officer cut her off. "No, you're trespassing. And if you or your crew touch that pole, you'll be arrested." Her men dropped their tools. The sound of metal hitting pavement rang out like victory bells. Karen stood frozen, fists clenched, eyes darting at all the cameras. She knew it was over. A Legion commander stepped forward, saluted my grandpa, and said, "This flag will stand longer than any HOA president." Neighbors cheered, not loud, not like a party, but like a sigh of relief finally released. Karen stormed off, humiliated. Within a week, the HOA board forced her to resign. And the flag? It still flies brighter than ever. Final lesson. One short, powerful line. Power built on fear crumbles the moment people choose to stand together.